The Rangers lose to the Boston Bruins 4-2 at TD Garden. The Bruins have now won 10 straight, and this game went about as expected for the Rangers, maybe even honestly a little bit better than expected, but it's certainly nothing to be happy about. But the key here is now, starting with the Montreal game this coming Thursday, so the Rangers have a lot of days off. Now you can at least field a complete roster with 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. That's going to happen because K'Andre Miller will be back at the very least. And then I believe, if let's say Tyler Mott is out, which could be the case, I believe they'll be allowed a call-up. I can't imagine they wouldn't be. So you're going to be fielding a full lineup. Maybe Ryan Lindgren returns. That remains to be seen. And again, I wouldn't push that. But I'm most excited to get Lindgren and Miller back. And that will really just put players where they belong. Again, going with these 5, it's not only just going with the 5 defensemen, it's who they are. That's the thing. I mean, Fox is Fox, right? But, I mean, Trouba, look, I'm not a big Trouba fan, but I suppose, all right, we can make the argument that he's been playing more minutes than he should be, but he is a top 4 defenseman. But Mikkola is a third pair guy, Schneider is a third pair guy, and Harper is really a healthy scratch, if we're being honest. So the 3 of them are playing way more than they should be, and really all 5 of them. It's just a bad mix, and I felt like they were running out of gas by the end of this. The Rangers have played a lot lately. You got to remember there was a recent, Western Canadian trip. Like there's been a lot of hockey, and I think now is a really good break. Rangers are 2-5-1 in the last 8. So, ever since they came back from that trip, they haven't been very good. And look, and I'll be patient. But Patrick Kane coming in, it brings out the worst in Artemi Panarin, which is what I feared. And they're just trying to force these passes, and it's perimeter play, and that's just not the formula that's going to get you there. We'll see. They might have gone too far with the Kane acquisition. And again, I was always skeptical, excited, but skeptical. And look, maybe I'll look like a total moron when, Patrick Kane does Patrick Kane things. And like I said, he needs some time. It's a lot. He was in Chicago for 16 seasons. He doesn't look quite right. Like just mentally, he kind of just looks a little bit disengaged, honestly, not all that invested. I mean, but I understand it. Obviously, it can't be easy. And look, it took time with Marty St. Louis. And Marty St. Louis as a Ranger, really, for me, there's very fond memories of the 2014 playoffs for many reasons. But beyond that, he really wasn't as advertised. And he dropped off. And he really wasn't good upon first coming here. And that might happen with Kane as well. I debate in my head whether I even think, Kane is younger now than St. Louis was then, but St. Louis was coming off of, so Kane was last year also, but St. Louis was really, really dominant upon coming to the Rangers. It's the closest comparison that I can find, and so don't be surprised. I'll put it this way. Don't be surprised if it's underwhelming results from Patrick Kane, at least through the rest of the regular season. And if he turns on come playoff time, then that's all that matters. But the Rangers need to get to the inside more. And that's the fear that I have. You get Tarasenko and you get Kane. It's just, you've kind of shifted again to being really, really finesse. But let's give him some time. Like I've said, the line should be different. I would separate Panarin and Kane. I also understand if you want to give him some more time. Look, I don't want to pull the plug. And when I say this, I'm not saying it is like, change it forever. But let's see some different things. And I think that you should separate Panarin and Kane. Now, whether you want to put Kane on the Zibanejad line with Kreider, I'm okay with. Or if you want to give him a look with Hedl, I'm all right with that as well. But I think I would personally have Panarin with Tarasenko. I felt like that was meshing well, but not to the point of overdoing it. Panarin is a turnover machine yet again. And I felt like when the Rangers got Tarasenko, Panarin was playing good hockey. He was doing the right things, and now he has totally found himself back in just doing the wrong things. And Patrick Kane has not looked good in the first 2 games, but again, This is not alarming by any means. Look, that first power play unit has been bad too. I just don't know. Like, does Patrick Kane have to be spoon fed? It's like, oh, Patrick Kane's here, first power play unit. You have other really worthy candidates. I'm sorry, Patrick Kane might need to be in that second unit. I'm just look, it's not going to happen, and that's what brings me to another thing that kind of it's annoying. Like John Cooper today benched Stamkos, Kucherov, and Point in the third period. Gallant, in a similar situation, would never do that. He would never ever do that. I'm not saying it's deserved now, but it's just Gallant needs to go away, break away from like this guy's a veteran. I understand he's Patrick Kane, but look, you just brought in fucking Vlad Tarasenko. So there are a load of other options that you could go to. But again, we'll give it some time. We'll see what happens. But just looking through this, like, you could see issues down the road for sure, but don't want to overreact too much. The kids didn't really play, specifically Hedel and Kako did not play a whole lot today. Lafreniere, though, considering everything, Lafreniere's been pretty good. Again, for me, the biggest concern with him is, like, I just don't think that he'll ever reach the marks that I think, obviously there was high expectations, but I don't think we look back and say, wow, like Lafreniere absolutely, turned it on in a big, big way. But that's where patience needs to be, a thing as well. Because, look, we've seen certain Rangers in recent past, not even number one picks, like Pavel Buchnevich. It takes some time, and Buchnevich is a really, really good player now. And even Filipino, who has quieted down. Filipino, like I've been saying, he's been quieted down lately, but even he has gotten better. So, look, 2 goals for Lafreniere today. That's a good thing. And a lot of his goals are not the prettiest, but I don't mind it. Lafreniere doesn't mind getting into the tough areas, and that's going to help you score goals. So let's talk about this game, though. And for Shesterkin, allows 4 goals. I can't really. It's frustrating, but I can't really blame him all that much. I don't look at this game and blame. I don't think it was an Igor thing. Boston deserved to win, and they did. And it was their depth type players that got it done early, the Charlie Coyles of the world, and then later on in the third, the top guys for Boston got it done. So in the first, thought the Rangers played a pretty good first period. Really did. Honestly, the first 2 periods were good for the Rangers. And at 11:32, Philip Hedel interferes with Connor Clifton. And there was a fight between Derek Forbort and Jimmy Vesey after Trouba hit, I believe it was Nosek. Was it Nosek? It might have been. And then I think it was. And then Hathaway got in there. But all in all, it ends up in a Boston power play, and the Rangers do kill it off. And then with less than 2 minutes left in the period, the Bruins score. It's Charlie Coyle, his 12th goal of the season, from Tyler Bertuzzi making his Bruin debut, and Trent Frederick. So Boston takes a 1-0 lead, and not great coverage by Hedel. Trouba was kind of out of position. I think the Trouba-Schneider pair had been on, and Goodrow maybe could have. I mean, again, they're mixing and matching a bunch with the 11 forwards, 5 defensemen. It's not good. You're not going to do well with that. I'd rather have like even if it means having a shitty type player. Like you need the 12 forward, 6 defensemen. So we go to the second period, and at the end of the first, and give Panarin credit for this. Panarin did draw a couple of power plays today. He's slashed by Bertuzzi, but the Ranger power play was not good. And in fact, to make it worse, they allow a shorthanded goal. Thomas Nosek scores his 5th goal of the season from Coyle, 30 seconds in to the period, and blame goes all the way around. But really, mostly to Patrick Kane, where Nosek gets behind Kane and makes a nice move into Shesterkin and scores. Kane just kind of staring around, not moving his feet, and that's what happens. I mean, before that, Fox, the puck, there's been a lot of giveaways by the Rangers of late, and Fox was kind of guilty of that as well. But there were others involved, possibly Panarin. But Boston scores a shortened goal. It's 2-0. Then Marchand interferes with Panarin at 5:11, and with 2 seconds left in the power play, it's the second unit that scores, and it's Lafreniere, his 12th goal of the season, from Trouba, who took a slap shot from up top, and Tarasenko. So Lafreniere cuts that lead to 1, and that would be the score at the end of 2. And I thought the Rangers Not a bad second period, especially the second half of the second period. I thought that it got better as it went along, but in the third period, it was an absolute Boston Bruin third period, and the Rangers just simply ran out of gas. They simply ran out of gas. They're undermanned, and that's what it is. And in the third, it starts off with a power play for the Rangers. At 18 seconds, no sec trips Kreider, but the power play does not get it done. And I know the Rangers got that one power play goal in the second unit, but the first unit needs a lot of work. A lot of work. If you're going to keep Kane there, look, could it be something special eventually? Sure, but it needs a lot of practice. So now at 4:12, Adam Fox trips Jake DeBrusk. Ranger penalty kill gets it done, and they get it done again. It's right after Trouba interferes with Garnet Hathaway. And again, the penalty kill does a nice job. So later on, though, at 12:56 of the third, it's Patrice Bergeron scoring his 23rd goal of the season from Marchand and Orlov. So it's 3-1 Boston at that point. And then, and I believe, that was that Trocheck line with Panarin and Kane defensively. It's awful. So if it's not going to do anything offensively, it's going to be a total net negative. And they were on again, or at least, some of that combination. There was a line change where I know Kane was initially on, and then Tarasenko hopped on the ice on the fourth goal. Pasternak on a nice, easy goal, one-timer on a pass by Charlie McAvoy. Pasternak's 44th goal of the season from McAvoy and Krejci at 16:40. Again, I really think that it's in their best interest to break up Panarin and Kane. Or at least, break up Panarin. Yeah. I think that's what needs to be done. I think it will eventually be done, but I don't think it'll happen right away. So then we go to, then the Rangers score again, and it's Lafreniere again. His second goal of the game, 13th of the season from Mikkola and Kakko. So the Rangers cut it to 4-2. They would lose by that score. Bruins win 4-2. It's the Bruins' 10th straight win of the season. And now the Rangers, look, they've very much settled into being in the third spot. Hey, maybe even wild card one if the Pittsburgh, which wouldn't really make that big of a difference, as I've said, because Carolina and the Devils are close between 1 and 2 anyway. So there's not a big difference. If the Rangers dropped off to wild card one, I don't think they will. The only reason why there's a chance is because they play Pittsburgh 3 more times. So that's the only reason why it would even be possible. But what the main point here is that the Rangers, the chances of them moving up in the standings in the Metropolitan Division are slim to none. So in that sense, it's really the biggest thing. It's not so much about winning and losing. It's about how they look and about blending together and finding that chemistry. They have time. They have about a month and a half to do it. But that's what I'm going to be looking for. And it all starts at Montreal Thursday night. You're going to get Keandre Miller back. And it'd be nice to get Lindgren back. We don't know. It'd be nice to get Tyler Mott back. If you can get all them back, then you're really looking at a situation where, okay, this is what we got right here. This is the team moving forward, barring injury. However, that might not happen, but at the very least, you will likely have 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. The fact that I'm even questioning it just shows how tight the Rangers are against the cap, but I better judgment will be had then. And within that stretch, eventually, though, there will be a lot of interesting games against playoff-type teams. There's home and home against Carolina. Like I said, a lot of games against Pittsburgh. So the Rangers will definitely be tested, for sure. Again, Rangers, the Undermanned Rangers, depleted. They lose to the Boston Bruins by a score of 4-2.